Hi, my name is Chasmin Harris. I am in the Instructional Technology Educational Specialist program at Kennesaw State University. This is my capstone project presentation on using a Microsoft Office 365 as a collaborative PLC tool. Simply put, the problem that I wanted to solve was so many people, so little time. I had this problem personally and researched the need, which was that there were so many different people, like special education, EIP, and parapros involved with multiple grade levels, and they were never able to be present at all of the PLC meetings they needed to be at. This was a problem because they missed out on necessary discussions and documents. If they missed out on something they needed, they usually heard about what they missed from a colleague and then had to find one person for the documents they needed. There was never enough time that a person that worked on multiple grade levels could be present during all, if any, of the PLC meetings they needed to be involved with. This resulted in a lot of misinformation and also late information because they were teaching another grade level during the PLC meeting they needed to attend. Collaboration is important within our school, and administration tries to make sure it happens. Each grade level is required to type up notes from each PLC meeting and send them to the principal. The county also has a teacher share for each school that gives access to all in the building the capability of sharing documents with others in the school. The only problem is the files are inaccessible if you are not in a Fulton County building. I knew there had to be a way to communicate with those on our team that couldn't be part of the meeting. For my project plan, there were 3 workshops. The goal of the project was to get some, if not all, PLCs in the building to use Microsoft OneDrive and OneNote to start collaborating and to prepare to use Microsoft Teams in the following school year. My plan for this project was to introduce 3 different online tools the staff would be able to use that would be conducive to a collaborative PLC, even for those teachers that could not be present for the meeting itself. Microsoft OneDrive was the first workshop I planned. Teacher Share is a year away from being deleted, and as a staff, we needed a way to share documents without the need to email them every single time we wanted to share them. Teachers would be able to share documents by creating a folder that was shared with all of the team members. Teachers would also be able to access these files anywhere they needed to, so if they were out sick or at another meeting, they would still have access to the files they needed. This was also a good first workshop because I could work with teachers to save their own files on the cloud, so if something happened to their computer, they would not lose their documents. The next workshop in my plan was Microsoft Excel, as they used to discuss data between grade level classes. I started to talk to some colleagues and realized that even though there was a need for Excel, there was a bigger need to sharing documents and having one place that every member of the PLC could go to get the information they needed quickly. Microsoft OneNote was a great alternative to helping teams organize a notebook with all of their PLC notes, along with documents and tools they needed to share and be able to access both inside and outside of school. Finally, Microsoft Teams will be my last workshop. Each workshop built on the last one, and Teams combined OneNote and OneDrive along with other helpful tools to collaborate not only within a single PLC, but also the entire school. This tool was the ultimate goal to use and be implemented in the 2019-2020 school year. The plan for evaluation was to use both pre and post surveys sent using Microsoft Forms to collect data for each workshop. The pre-survey would ask questions about the current uses of the program, how collaboration was done currently in their PLCs, and any specific questions that each person had about the program. The post survey would be sent a week or two after the workshop to see if the participants in the workshop had taken what they learned back to their PLC and how the implementation of that program was going for them in their PLCs. Using these surveys helped me develop better workshops and also helped me to see how effective my workshops were. By using these surveys, I wanted to be able to compare pre and post survey data to monitor growth of the teachers in the PLCs, change the method used to collaborate within the school, and increase the percentage of staff and PLCs using Microsoft Office 365 to collaborate. Each workshop followed the same format for the Capstone experience. I would introduce the program, show examples of how I used it personally and professionally, and then give participants a chance to create something using the program so they could get practice using it to be prepared to go back and share it within their PLCs. I knew that my workshop participation would be low because so many people had other things to accomplish during the day. So I created a website that other staff could access at their own convenience to learn more about a tool. For Microsoft OneDrive, I focused on saving documents, sharing documents, and multiple users being able to edit a document at the same time in real time. I was able to help all of the staff that attended my workshop to not only share documents with their PLC members as practice, but also they moved all of their documents from being saved on their computer to saving them on their cloud to make sure they did not lose their files. In the Microsoft OneNote workshop, I focused on working with participants to create a OneNote for their PLC team to use that will be broken up into different subjects and sections where notes, files, and other helpful artifacts could be added and shared amongst the PLC team. The Microsoft Teams workshop was more of an introduction to what will be used in the next school year. I created an example Microsoft team of what it could look like school-wide, and I showed the participants the different ways teams would be more useful than teacher share. The biggest thing that most people enjoyed in that workshop was the chat feature where they could talk to each other outside of school to get clarification on things that they did not understand in the PLC meeting or needed to talk about further. So let's take a look at how well this project helped the staff become more collaborative at my school. The increased use of Microsoft OneDrive was tremendous. As shown above, before the OneDrive workshop, only about 44% of the teachers that took the survey used OneDrive with ease collaboratively. After the workshop, that number increased by 38% of the staff using this particular tool collaboratively within their PLCs. By the end of the school year, out of all those surveyed, most of the teachers were able to say that they either used it at least once or it was the only way they worked now. Before the OneNote workshop, only about 58% of staff were using the program collaboratively within their PLCs. After the workshop, that number increased by 18%. By the end of the school year, most of the teachers that took the end of the year survey were using OneNote either at least once a week or that was the only way they used it collaboratively. This shows me that more PLCs are working hard to incorporate OneNote as a new way to organize their grade level documents and tools. I did not expect the use of Microsoft Teams to increase by much because this was a new tool that was still in the works of being created for the school. However, one grade level did start to use Teams instead of OneNote for all of their grade level work. The use before the Microsoft Teams workshop was about 51%, and that number increased by about 17% after the workshop. Because we have not fully created our new school teams, it's the only way I worked was only one person because they were the only team that actually uses Teams in the school so far. I expect this number to rise significantly by the end of the next school year because it will be implemented school-wide for all teachers to use. All three of the programs introduced to the staff as a new collaborative use tool did increase the collaboration with grade levels. From interviews with teachers that were not able to attend all of the PLCs that they needed to be a part of, 100% of them told me they were very pleased with how well they were able to get caught up on what they missed using the new tools. A lot of teachers most enjoyed OneDrive and OneNote specifically because they were able to see artifacts and documents that needed to be used in the shared space to have a better understanding when they were reading the PLC notes. I believe having staff work primarily on these two programs first will open up the receptiveness of staff once Microsoft Teams is implemented in the new school year. Microsoft Office 365 is turning out to be a great tool to use to help give everyone an opportunity to be involved in the work of the PLC, no matter what their time constraints are. And that is my capstone project presentation. Thank you. And all images and photographs used in this presentation were used with permission or according to the guidelines for fair use.